Take 3. Okay, so next question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh.
Folks, just want to quickly interrupt the workflow because we've had a really exciting delivery to my right here from Vunt. It's basically all of our electrical system, which we ordered last week and it's arrived already whilst we were away from the barn. So as you can see, not opened it yet. There's some other stuff on the table as well, so there's a lot of stuff we're going to just check over and make sure we've got everything. So basically, before we even moved to the barn, we started looking at our electrics and trying to work out how much things were going to cost. And we found 2 companies, Vunt and Noma, both set up very similar. Basically, you can go on, put in what you think you're going to be using in terms of electrics, and also add things like how long you expect to be driving each day, and where you're going to be in terms of sunlight. And basically they provide everything you need. So for example, your leisure battery or your solar panels, your inverter, your DC to DC charger, and all the cables and fuses that you'll need for that part of the electrics. So basically they provide everything you need to install the electrical system up until your fuse board. When you come to do your first fit wiring, that's going to be all your sort of 12 volt cable and your 230 volt cable running to where your appliances will be or where your lights will be, for example. And they don't provide that part because obviously everyone's setup is different. You don't know how long each cable is going to be, how much cable you're going to need, but they provide everything up until that point. So we have done some planning in terms of our layout. Obviously we've figured out where things are going to go roughly, and we've started looking at what appliances we're going to need, and we've even started to buy some of the appliances as you've seen in the first video. So we did start working out how much power each appliance was going to need to try and figure out exactly what we need in terms of our electrical setup. However, on the Vunt website, you can select what appliances you will need, and basically it will tell you how much power you need. So it does all the hard work for you. And as I say, you get a dedicated support person as well. So we've been speaking to a guy called Sam, who's been absolutely brilliant. He spoke to me originally before we moved to the barn. We were actually in a position a couple of weeks ago where we were going to order what we needed. We've been speaking to Aid, so we kind of knew what we wanted anyway. However, he got in touch with us before we placed the order, just to see where we were and whether we were still interested. And he suggested we jump on another call just to go over everything that we've already selected. He gave me some extra advice in terms of the solar panels, because basically we were going to go for 2 400 watt solar panels, but the size just didn't fit the roof, so we've downgraded a little bit. We've got a total of around 650 watts of solar power on the roof now, but he's been really helpful. And as I say, we, after the call, placed the order. So literally a week later, it's here, and we're now in a position to open and just check everything against the checklist, which they recommend you do within the first 30 days. So we're going to do that, open the box, make sure everything's there, and then find somewhere to basically store it until we're ready to install it. So let's get to it.
You drew a heart in your breath on the window. I took you out with a long goodbye. I fell asleep on your side of the pillow to see what's on your mind. You can hang out with all my friends, our lips and lemonade. Don't mind the mess you put me in, running out of my toothpaste.
So first of all, the battery. Now this thing weighs an absolute ton. I think it's 53 kilograms, so that's definitely something to bear in mind when we come to install it. Not going to get it out the box just because it is, obviously we're not going to install it yet, so want to keep it nice and packaged up, but just to show you what it is, it's a Fogstar Drift 628 amp hour lithium battery. Yeah, don't know what else to tell you really. It's a beast. but it's going to obviously keep us off grid for as long as possible, together with the solar panel and the battery to battery charger. Frogstar apparently are like the sort of most up and coming sort of brand for lithium batteries. They're kind of almost dominating the market now. Loads of cool features, they're really good quality, really good in terms of costs as well. They come with Bluetooth, so you basically don't need to have like any kind of shunt or anything like that. You can directly check on the app how much sort of percentage is left in the battery. Obviously Vunct recommend them as well, and they include them in probably, I don't know whether they include other batteries. I'm sure that you can buy other different brands of battery there, but this was obviously the recommended one for us. So yeah, excited to install this.
We'll spend some time just getting closer. Can you come over?
Good afternoon, folks. We are back in the barn. Hopefully this camera holds out now. We have been having some issues with it, so hopefully it's still working and recording. We are now this week going to work on the roof rack and sort of fitting the solar panels, or at least fitting the roof rack where the solar panels will go, so that then we can start cutting out the holes for the roof fan and the skylight. So Gemma's just doing a bit of editing whilst I crack on with sort of messing about with the uni-strut, and sort of it's almost like piecing together a jigsaw, but I'm quite happy with how it's looking at the moment. So basically what I've done is I've started to lay out the uni-strut on the floor as if it were on the roof. So the two longer bars is the distance that they're going to position on the van. So basically the brackets of the solar panels fit in the middle of the uni-strut, where they're going to be positioned on the roof, which is ideal because it means we can have a fairly low profile solar panel. So I think the brackets can be fitted the other way around, and normally the solar panel sort of rests on top of the brackets, which would bring the brackets higher up and bring the solar panel higher up. However, I've kind of flipped them upside down, which means that they are quite low profile, and it sits quite nicely behind the uni-strut, adding that sort of extra layer of protection. So essentially what we have is two different sizes of uni-strut. We have the bigger pieces, which are going to run down the side. They're 42mm thick, and then the smaller pieces, which are going to be sort of cross members, if you like. They're 21mm thick, and then we have these different sized spring clips. So the bigger ones obviously go into the bigger sized uni-strut, and that gives us a M6 sized thread, and their cross beams will be screwed into that spring clip, and then on the cross beams we'll have the smaller spring clip, which works exactly the same, squeezes in, and that's what our solar panel brackets will be screwed into. And you can see I've kind of lined those up already there. So the bigger uni-strut, which is going to run along the sides, there we've got three pieces that are 3 meters long, and then what we're going to do is the third piece we're going to cut literally in half, so 1.5 meters long each, and they're going to be our front sections. So what I've done here is I've just made sure that the solar panel is going to sort of fit on that first 1.5 meter section, which, as you can see, it will do absolutely fine. So the 21mm uni-strut are 2 meters long, and we've got 5 pieces of that, and I've just marked out on there where they need to be cut, just so they're equal distance and they will fit the solar panel. So what I need to do now is just cut the uni-strut into size, and then we can start T-washing it to get the galvanised paint residue off there. Need to galvanise the ends that we cut, and then we can start looking at painting them. So we've cut all the pieces of uni-strut now. They came galvanised, so as we've exposed the ends, we're just going to spray some zinc galvanising spray onto the ends, let that dry, and then we'll give them a T-wash just to get rid of any sort of galvanising residue before we then start looking at priming them and then eventually painting them black. Okay, so basically with the uni-strut cut to size finally, I've been doing a lot of pissing around basically, trying to make sure that everything lines up. The holes in the bottom of the uni-strut line up deciding which holes they're going to line up with on top of the van. I think I've finally figured it out on the one side now, and I've secured it. It's not been painted or anything yet. But I just wanted to secure it in place, get this side done, get all the all the M6 rivets in the roof, basically set up the uni-strut where the solar panels are going to go, and that means we can then mark up where we need to cut for the roof vent and the skylight, maybe the shower dome vent as well, and that means we can be cracking on with that whilst we're sort of also spraying the uni-strut and letting that dry, and then we can get the solar panels on the roof once everything else is fitted, and that's a big job done out of the way. So I found out this way of doing things from another YouTube video, a channel that's actually really useful. I can't for the life of me think of the name of it now, but I will link it below. Well, basically he showed in this video that he did that crafters and sprinters have got basically pre-made holes which are perfect for screwing in the uni-strut. On the crafter it's almost basically a sticker covering the hole, which just obviously because this van's been sprayed, it just needs a bit of cutting around the edge and peeling off, and that reveals a hole. So as you can see, perfect round hole to stick in a M6 rivet nut. So here I've got some M6 rivet nuts, and that just fits nicely in there. And to secure that in place, I've just got these long arm riveters, something else borrowed from Justin. I'm going to open that up, screw that on, push that in, and push down. There we go. That's secured in place. It's a bit loose. I think I will need to add some Sikaflex around that when we secure the roof rack, but yeah, something for it to screw into. So I've now got my cut piece of uni-strut that's going to go at the front. So essentially the two side rails are split into two, one at the front, one at the back, obviously. And this is what I'm going to be using to fix it to the roof. So I've got these M6 galvanised spacer washers, which I've got with the uni-strut. They're going to go underneath the uni-strut just to raise it a little bit. There's a little bit of a mound at the front, which I just want to clear with the uni-strut. And then we've got an M6 washer, a countersunk washer, and then for the front, because of having the square spacers, I've got a 40mm M6 bolt. So that's going to go through those three, through the uni-strut, through spacers, and then into the roof. So the washer fits in there. So you can see that there, but we've got clearance. Okay, so it's a new day and we finally managed to get the uni-strut roof rack kind of half on the roof, worked out how we're going to fix it all to the roof, so I'll show you that now. So this is the roof rack roughly in position. So these cross beams at the front are fixed on, as you can see. Under there we've got a large spring clip, which then the cross beam screws into with a couple of washers and a 20mm bolt. This one's not firmly screwed in actually, but this one, as you can see, that is absolutely solid. This distance between these two cross members is where they're going to go, and the solar panel will be in the middle. And then as you see further down the back of the roof, you'll see that we've positioned where we think the dome vent is going to go, then the next solar panel back, and then we've got the adapter for the skylight, and then the air vent will go somewhere in the middle of these two solar panels. Okay, so I'm now on the roof. Not a fan of this because I'm not a fan of heights, but just get it done. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mask off where the solar panels or the rails for the solar panels are going to go, and that'll allow me, and also take some measurements so we can just jot it on paper as well, so we can make sure we know exactly where we're going to put the skylight, the roof fan and the dome vent, and then I can take all of this uni-strut down, start preparing that, and then start marking out the hole for the skylight. So I'm just in the middle of removing the uni-strut, and I just realised I hadn't actually shown you the back, how the back's fixed on. So obviously it's fixed to the roof. Simple 20mm bolt and washers, as it was at the front. And then at the back, as you can see, the roof slopes down. So it kind of, the uni-strut is coming away from the roof. So again, I've just used some of these spacer uni-strut washers to just rise that back end and secure that down solid. And I don't think the back ones need anything really. You could do the same on the back, but the only thing really that's going to be on the back is potentially a light bar. So yeah, just thought I'd quickly show you that before we remove it and get them T-washed up. So all of the uni-strut is now off the roof. It's ready for some work, like the T-wash and painting. But before we do that, now's a good time to get it weighed. So a few weeks ago, we went and got the van weighed at a weighbridge in order to get a starting weight. We made a note of how much fuel's in the tank. It was roughly 1/3 full, and we weren't in the van. There was nothing in it at the time, no windows, the old wheels and tyres were on there, and the weight came in at 2,180 kilos. Now our goal is to stay under 3.5 tonne, because that's all that we can drive on our licence, and we potentially might have to uprate the vehicle. So it's really important that we don't go over that, especially going abroad, because there could be hefty fines and points on your licence involved if you were to go over that. So what we've decided to do is, as best as possible, make a note of everything that's going into the van and weighing it before it goes in. And anyone who knows me will know that I love a spreadsheet. So I've created a spreadsheet, which I'll show you some of the other things that are on that spreadsheet at some other time. but we've got a weights tab on there where we've got a running log of what the weight is. So with the uni-strut, each of the pieces have been weighed minus my weight and then tallied up. That gives us a grand total of 34.8 kilograms. So as good as this uni-strut is and as cheap as it is, the downside is obviously the weight.
So I'm the mug that's going to tea wash it all while Stu does something else. Lucky bugger. So basically, we've got the uni-strut, and as it's been galvanised, it's left a residual on it. So basically, it would leave, if we were going to paint it, it would leave streaks, or the paint wouldn't adhere so good, which, you know, flake off, it just wouldn't look pretty. So we're going to use this tea wash that basically will take off the excess galvanised paint. I think that's what it's called. And then we're going to prime it and then paint it, and then we can put it up on the roof.
Why are we wearing goggles?
So I'm wearing goggles because if this was to splash me in the eye, according to Stu, I'd go blind, which is not going to bode well for our photography business, because, you know, I probably could take photos if I was blind, but I don't know if they'd turn out very well. So precautions and safety and PPE and all that. So we ran out of etch primer. We did kind of half of every strut. So we're now using red oxide to finish the job, because we had it left over and we're going to paint them black anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The dog's just sat in the red oxide. Hello. So while Stu's having a break from doing everything wrong by the sounds of it, I'm staying out of it, all the effing and jeffing, which hopefully won't make the video. So basically what I'm doing is I'm still on the uni-struts. Let me show you. So here are the uni-struts. Now, I think I already said that we ran out of primer, which is the grey stuff there. And so then we went to the red oxide paint to finish it, because we couldn't really get any more primer from anywhere. Now, my advice would be wait for the primer. So we've used the red oxide paint, which essentially does the same job, but I painted these yesterday and they're still tacky today. So I may as well have got some more primer delivered, and then they'd have been dry quite a lot quicker, and I've probably have them painted black now. But yeah, so I've painted them. So now I am, again, they're still tacky, but I'm kind of keying them up a bit, just so when we do spray them black, it sticks a bit better. It's just a little bit of a smoother finish. Not that you'll see it when it's up on the roof, but it should hopefully stick better and be a better finish and stay black for longer, which is what we want. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Let me always and okay, so let's spray these. Right, let's see. So while you're watching me do this, which is a little bit boring, why don't you hit the subscribe button? It helps us, and like our post, and if you can, comment, because that'll push us to the top.
So we've got all of our uni-strut finally painted in black. We've used 4 cans of this Geno Light Direct to Rust black paint. And we're now in a position to fix it to the roof. And we've got all of our fixings laid out, which we've of course weighed. So all we need to do before we fix it is apply some 522 Sikaflex around the rib nuts that we put in the holes in the roof. Obviously some were a bit loose, and just to water seal that. And then we'll apply a little bit to each bolt, I think, as we screw the uni-strut into the roof. Okay, so I just want to quickly interrupt this video to say that if you are looking for a place to come and convert your van, there are currently places available at the barn. All you need to do, get in touch with Aid. I'll leave his email in the comments below. And yeah, this is give you a quick tour of what you'll get. So how it works is you can either rent a bay like we have done, and then if you do rent a bay, this is essentially your bay to do with what you want. As you can see, we've brought various units, cupboards and that, computer to work on, and you can obviously organise it however you want. You park your van in front of the bay where you get to work on it. There's 4 bays in total in the barn, and there are some currently available, such as this one. The other option is you can work outside and you can park up and you can rent a space for a week, a month, a day. It's completely up to you. Different rates are available. And a new addition to the barn is storage containers. So you can actually rent a storage container. So say for example you're selling your house and moving out, and you're going to sell a load of stuff like we've done, but there's some stuff you want to keep, then obviously you can rent a storage container and keep stuff in there whilst you build your new home. So you can stay overnight in your van whilst you work on your build, or if you're lucky like us, we have a smaller van in which we sleep on, which means we can leave the big van that we're working on in whatever state it is at the end of the day and just go to bed. You can cook on there and everything. There is a kitchen and a bathroom, showers, toilets obviously, a washer, dryer, kettle, fridge, everything you'd expect from a kitchen, which means that you can crack on with your van and you've got everything you need right on site. So the other great thing is not only the space to actually work on your van, it's the community that are here. You've got people on hand who are doing exactly the same thing, like-minded people who are probably going to be further along than you are. This is our experience. We're meeting people that are like kind of finishing their van build, so we're getting lots of advice from them. And Aid himself is skilled in many areas. He's a professional carpenter. He has obviously seen vans come in and out, so he knows what works, what doesn't work, and learns from other people's mistakes and can pass that wisdom on. So the knowledge you get alone is invaluable, so we totally recommend it here. So if you are interested in inquiring more, just shoot Aid a message in the email below, and yeah, arrange to come down, visit, come and see who's at the barn, meet the community and get started on your van build. Okay, so we're skipping ahead in time a little bit now. So when we get up on the roof, you'll see that we've got well, basically most things installed, which we've since done, which we'll show in another future episode. But we're now just putting the painted uni-strut on the roof. We did do this yesterday and we tested it last night and it did actually leak. So we're now basically going to Sikaflex between each part. So the spacers, the washer, the smaller washer, and then we're going to Sikaflex in the hole before we screw it all down, and putting enough in there that the Sikaflex comes through the washer and spreads out, and that should hopefully keep it watertight.
This isn't anywhere close to the hole, no. It needs to go that way a bit.
That way?
No, that way.
Can you lift the whole thing up and just see where the hole is?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is the holes to these in the
Yeah, I know what you mean.
aren't even near the hole in
It should be. One of them should be, because I've tested it. What am I doing?
holding it.
Can I just have a look?
Yeah, you
Then.
can have a look.
Because like, I don't know how that could have changed. Is this recording?
Yeah.
This is a massive fail. It's always easy jobs. Okay, so we were trying to Sikaflex everything on the roof all at the same time.
Don't do it.
That was a bad move. It was just, the stuff is so horrible to work with. Well, depends on what you're doing with it, but it's just so messy. So we are doing the Sikaflexing of the spacers here, let them dry off a bit, and then we'll, do it step by step. So hopefully it's not as messy. So obviously we had the van outside last night in the rain. The main reason was to test the skylight, the roof van, which, as I say, will feature in a later video. But obviously we had the roof rack up. You what? I am, that's what I'm doing. Just make sure you tell the truth. I am telling the truth. So essentially the holes, so I put riv nuts in every hole on the roof just in case we ever want to sort of move things around. But obviously some of the holes aren't being used to hold down the roof rack because it won't fit in, the bolt won't fit in the gap in the uni-strut. So those holes were obviously open to the elements, so they're obviously the ones that leaked. So what we're doing today is probably a bit overkill, but as you can see, we've got we're basically Sikaflexing every layer, like we said. We've taken our time with it. We've Sikaflexed the washers on the roof now, and then we'll sort of do it step by step. So it is probably overkill, but at least we know it's going to be fully sealed and weatherproof. And to give us a head start, we've marked the holes which are not going to be used, so we can just stick a load of Sikaflex in there, and then on the actual uni-strut we've marked whereabouts or which hole is going to be used to house the bolt.
It's all a blur, thought I could help myself. The rope seems warm, I can see
Gemma's just put a
fell.
Sikaflex on the bottom of these, get into position. Obviously always lands in the wrong position.
Base seems nice, but my legs weren't made for the road. Take my hand, help me know in a moment. Push me to the edge, on the border, being honest. Take it all away and I see for the first. I can't do it alone, I can't do it all on my own. I can't do it all on my own.
So before I put the cross member pieces on, whilst the solar panel is off the roof and I've now got the brackets installed, I just want to line up where the spring clips are going to go in the uni-strut, so we don't need to worry about trying to do that when it's on the roof.
New things that I found, late nights and fed to the ground. Phone calls a few miles, you're mine in just a matter of time. You can try to find a way to make it happen alone.
Okay, so we've decided we're going to put the solar panels on first, just because we've got that clearance at the front. If we can get it on that, we know that the cross member pieces can slide and we can move them about and we can get it in position and slide the cross member pieces into position, screw them down and then screw the solar panels to the cross member pieces. So the question is, how do we get a heavy solar panel up on that high roof? We need a Gemma.
Take my hand, help me know in a moment. Push me to the edge, on the border, being honest. Take it all away and I see for the first. I can't do it alone, I can't do it all on my own. Take my hand, help me know in a moment. Push me to the edge, on the border, being honest. Take
Okay, so
it
that
all
one's
away
difficult.
and I see for the first. I can't do it alone, I can't do it all on my own. I can't do it all on my own.
basically with the solar panel now on the roof, and we have our first cross beam secured in place. All we have to do now is secure the brackets of the solar panel into the cross beam, do the same the other side, and we have a solar panel fitted. So just going to be using these spacers again, which coincidentally fit perfectly between the uni-strut and the solar panel bracket, and just adds that extra bit of stability. So again, that sits in between there. We're going to use a 20mm M6 bolt and apply a little bit of Loctite just to make sure that they stay firmly in position. And there we have it. Fully functioning roof rack. Okay, so I'm sat here at 10 o'clock at night going through the footage that we filmed over the past week, and there's a lot of rambling, and it's really difficult to kind of condense the video down into something that makes sense. And if I was to include everything in one video, this video would be about an hour long. And if I'm being honest, I feel like we don't actually get that much done, albeit there is a lot that has been done. And we're also getting quite behind on the van build, considering we want to go away the end of Jan. My goal is to really make these videos more to the point, I suppose, and less of me rambling on and showing you what essentially is the same footage, drilling into the metal or cutting out some metal. But obviously we want to keep you updated with what we're doing. So I suppose this channel is being set up really for family to keep tabs on what we're up to. But that said though, I really want to use this opportunity whilst we're building the van and we've got this content to improve, and you know, I want to keep doing it. So I think what I'm going to do is sort of edit the footage from the past week into like 3 separate videos. I guess if I'm being honest, to give ourselves a bit of a head start to be able to release these videos every Sunday, and take the pressure off trying to get them out like I was last week, editing on a Saturday evening. So if I can put together like 3 episodes from the last week, we can take our time a little bit more and sort of film more intentionally, and plan what we're going to film, and hopefully these videos will start to flow a lot better. So however, let us know if you're enjoying this content, then we would love to know, and tell us what you kind of want to see us doing, or where we can improve. I suppose as creatives we always look for feedback, we always want to improve. We're obviously very critical of our own work, but yeah, just we will definitely take any feedback on board. But yeah, the next 2 episodes after this will be very similar, but then after that I think hopefully you'll start to see an improvement in quality, and a little bit more intentional. And obviously we'll get better at doing what we're doing to the van. We'll get quicker, and we'll hopefully by then have a firmer grasp on what we're doing, and the steps we need to take to complete the van. But thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all that stuff the cool kids say. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
I think that was a tough one. Yeah, I think it is a tough one because we don't know the process. So I'd say the place where we're aiming for is to move on to the van, grow our business, and then buy some land, possibly abroad, and build a tiny home. But I wouldn't say that's a 5-year plan. And obviously it's open to change. Like, if kind of like God doesn't want us to go down that route, then we won't. We're very much kind of like, we're the type of people that need somewhere to aim for, and then we'll just be guided as we need to be. As for 5 years, I suppose just a thriving business.
Yeah, I suppose, because so we're wedding photographers and videographers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see, like, I'd like to see that grow, and maybe do more things with those sort of skills, like in the commercial world. And we've got some music videos we're filming this year.
Yeah, and some like
some charity work
as well, which would be cool.
Yeah, so that's but yeah, I suppose, like you said about God's plan, I'm part of the whole. We've kind of made this decision, haven't we? It's like our decision. It's not like God's told us to do this, but I feel like we're just kind of at peace with it, aren't we? And we're just kind of excited to see where it goes.
And as we've pushed on each door, it's been opened, and it's like, okay, like, and we've just prayed over, like, if it's not the right path to go down, like, don't let us walk through the door. But like, just with the sale of the house, it's like, that all was just a crazy experience, and sold in 4 weeks, and you know, it's just like each door has kept opening, so we're just like, okay, we'll just take the next step. And
I suppose I've got no idea where we'll be in 5 years, but like, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what God's got in store and what you know He wants us to do with our lives, really. I suppose so.
Yeah, I think just experiencing the great outdoors. I've travelled a few different places and have got a business that, you know, doesn't make millions. I mean, it'd be nice, but we don't want to work.
Essentially.
Our fingers to the bone. But like, just a business that is successful in that we can financially survive off it.
Yeah. That, and also because we love doing what we do, and we just want to keep doing it and just keep growing, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of just our work, just constantly improving. And
and if you want a wedding videographer or photographer or both, we'll put our link in the comments so that you can to our website, because we haven't made it yet.
Shameless plug.
Why not? You might like us. I mean, it's our first video. We're a bit dorky.
Yeah, very dorky.